Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about some philosophy on first aid kits, specifically for Airsoft. Now, to begin with, should you carry first aid kit on your Airsoft gear? You probably should have a first aid kit anytime you're doing some dangerous activity that's appropriate to your level of medical training. So if you engage in any sort of dangerous hobbies like hiking, backpacking, camping, driving a car, playing airsoft, playing paintball, go shooting at the range, any of those activities are potentially dangerous. It's a good idea to have medical equipment and medical training to use that equipment. Now, when it comes to Airsoft, we've got a couple extra things to be concerned about. A lot of Airsoft big scenario games will have some sort of medic rules where another player can apply some sort of fake bandage to you and you're back in the game. And depending on the game, sometimes you're allowed to say, my Band-Aid's in this pocket and point them out where on your gear the Band-Aid is. In some games, that's not allowed. I believe AMS doesn't allow that. So a lot of people end up putting these little medical patches on their stuff. If anyone's wondering, this is a Condor patch that I took a Sharpie to. For Airsoft first aid kits, you need to consider the in-game rule mechanic first aid kit and your, oh my, somebody fell off a building and is going to die first aid kit. What I found, and most of the people I know who carry actual medical gear with them while playing, will try to put both of these items in the same pouch, which is how you get giant pouches like the one that's sitting here. This is a tactical Tailor admin pouch. I'll put a link in the description, or possibly right over there, to details on this pouch. I'm not sure if it's still made, but you can find similar things. The Condor map pouch will also give you very similar capabilities, and those are also pretty cheap. You just rip out the stupid map insert for them and they work. I would recommend not putting a tourniquet on the outside of your gear. I realize that if you look at actual military use, usually they'll have a cat tourniquet hanging somewhere off the front of your gear, on the plate carrier or rubber banded down, something like that. Now, as we saw over all of the massive protests last year, there were lots of people with no medical training going out to these riots, claiming to be medics. If something happens to me, I do not want some person with zero medical training trying to apply a tourniquet to my neck or whatever stupid thing. So I think putting tourniquets visibly outside on the outside of your gear is probably a bad idea. Putting it in a first aid kit, that's fine, but I wouldn't leave it visible on the outside of your gear. And now, let's switch this camera around. As you can see, this is just attached to the front of a chest rig, and we'll talk more about this chest rig later. What I really like about this pouch, and I recommend you get something similar, is when I open the top flap, this is where I put my first aid kit for Airsoft. This is the game kit. This is American Milsim says you need, they use these ACE bandages for their medic rules, so I just shove them in there. If somebody's going through your gear to get your first aid kit, that's the first thing they see. And I mean, it's a real bandage, but it's probably not what somebody's going to want if you're seriously hurt. Then if you open up this flap, we've got the actual first aid kit. I'm not going to go into exactly what's in here. As you can see, the tourniquet, Israeli bandage, gloves. But that's something you could easily access and pull out. It's a little hidden, so it's not going to have random people in the middle of an Airsoft game grabbing it. They're going to go grab these first, but it's with you if something bad happens. So as for where to get the components to go in your pouch, I'd recommend you check out Refuge Medical. They sell both pre-built first aid kits and they sell components. Honestly, right now, due to a certain war in Europe, there's a huge demand for medical supplies going over to the war effort. So finding things is a little bit hard. Do some looking. You can actually find a few legit medical supplies on Amazon, but you need to be really careful because there's more knockoffs than there is good stuff. If you're going to do something dangerous, get medical training. If you're going to have medical training, you should have a first aid kit appropriate to your medical training. So when you're playing Airsoft, have a first aid kit. And I recommend a 2-compartment first aid kit so you have both real medical supplies and in-game medical supplies. That's it for now.